Hey guys, in this month's top 5, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite William Shakespeare plays. So I'm going to preface this video by saying that I've not really read too many Shakespeare plays. I've maybe only read about a dozen of Shakespeare's plays. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, I'm not quite positive. I've mostly kind of only read the tragedies and the comedies, and I've not read any of the historical plays whatsoever, though I'd really love to in the future. I also decided to do this top 5 for April because I realized that William Shakespeare was born and died in April, so I think it's only fitting that I dedicate a top 5 for him in April. So let's get going. At number 5 is Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet is probably one of the most read Shakespeare plays, I'm going to assume. Most high schoolers read it, I think, in 9th grade, especially here in America. I don't know about in the rest of the world, but I think here in America, most high schoolers, as soon as they hit high school, Romeo and Juliet is the big Shakespeare play that we read here. And I think most everyone knows about Romeo and Juliet. It's the story of two star-crossed lovers, and they can't be together because they have two opposing, feuding families. And their story, it's a love story, but it's also a tragedy. And Romeo and Juliet just want to be together. That's all they ask for, people. I just really love Romeo and Juliet. I want to say it was the very first Shakespeare play I ever read, and it's the most recognizable, I think quotable in some ways. And I just love the story, and it's an easy story to follow, and there's not much difficulty to it. And I love the romance. It's not a very healthy romance, I'll give it that if you know the ending. It's not a very healthy romance. But I still love the two characters together and their devotion, and I just, wow, that ending, it's just so sad. At number 4 is Much Ado About Nothing. Much Ado About Nothing is a comedy, and I genuinely think it's pretty funny. Some of Shakespeare's comedy plays, it's just like, this is supposed to be funny, I'm not laughing, but the relationship between Beatrice and Benedict, right? That's their names. They're just so hilarious together, and they totally make the play, and they're kind of the big reason why I love the play. Because some of the side story elements I don't particularly enjoy, but I do love the Beatrice and Benedict parts the best. And there's just so many kind of little plot twists all over the place. I remember the first time I read the play, and just little things would happen, and then come back to the very end of the book or the play, and then I was like, wow, that's interesting. At number 3 is A Midsummer Night's Dream. I really love Midsummer Night's Dream. I think it's the fantasy elements that I love so much. Midsummer Night's Dream, if you don't know, has fairies in it, and the fairies are actually my favorite characters. I love Oberon and Puck and Titania, and I love their interactions amongst each other. And the story is about these two girls and two guys. They all have this weird four-way relationship going on. It's all kind of confusing. I'm not even going to attempt to explain it here, but it's just their story connects with the fairies in a very interesting way. And then you have a troupe of actors, and then the actors interact with the fairies in interesting ways. But yeah, it's kind of all these character interactions that I love, and that's where the humor and comedy comes out. And then, like I said, I really love the fairy element to the story. At number 2 is Macbeth. Macbeth, wow, you know, I really want to see a modern adaptation of that. I think it would make for a fantastic movie. Has there been a Macbeth movie in recent years? Because if not, it would really do well, I think, visually on the big screen. Macbeth is about this really ambitious guy named Macbeth and his even more ambitious wife, Lady Macbeth, and just this whole thing of politics and ruling and people trying to stop Macbeth, and it's just all sorts of crazy and very political. I think it's kind of a political play in some ways. And Macbeth just has some really fantastic quotable lines that I love. The action of Macbeth is just so intense, and I'm never really bored. There's only a couple parts in Macbeth it's like, why did Shakespeare put this scene? And it's so stupid and random, but whenever Macbeth or Lady Macbeth is on the page or on the screen, I'm always hooked, and I love their story. And at number 1 is Hamlet. I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to place Hamlet or Macbeth at number 1. Hamlet and Macbeth are easily exchangeable as far as first or second position. I pretty much love Hamlet and Macbeth equally, but I decided to go with Hamlet as number 1. Hamlet is the story about this Danish prince, and his father has just died, and his mother is marrying his uncle literally after his father has just died, and Hamlet finds out that his uncle poisoned his father. So there's all this family drama going on, and just so much intensity, and good lord, I think Hamlet is the most bloodiest of the Shakespeare plays. Practically the entire cast dies, if you do not already know that. And Hamlet just has some best quotable lines as well. These 5 plays that I picked, I kind of picked them a lot too because of those really quotable lines and recognizable lines. I mean, even if you've never read Hamlet, I'm pretty confident that if whenever you have heard the to be or not to be speech, you know that it probably comes from Hamlet. And Hamlet's one of Shakespeare's plays that has probably been done the most, besides Romeo and Juliet, as movie adaptations. And I've always kind of liked just about every adaptation of Hamlet. So that's it for this month's top 5. What are your favorite Shakespeare plays? Did I miss any? I have a lot of other favorites. I really love Twelfth Night, and I really like Taming of the Shrew. But yeah, please tell me what your favorites are and why you like them, and if you have a play that you don't like, let me know that too. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and if you liked this top 5, you may like these other top 5s. Bye guys.